start.
In God's name we begin, the ever compassionate and relenting. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome, my name is Talha Hassan. I am currently a PhD student in the medieval history of the Caliphate at SOAS under the supervision of Professor Hugh Kennedy. And this box arrived from America yesterday, and it contains the books that I once read while I was in prison there, held in solitary confinement. And I want to share my readings while I was held at Northern in Connecticut, next to death row, for about a year and a half, from October 2012 on the Columbus Day weekend. We were extradited from America until about July 2014, when I pled guilty following a plea bargain with the US government, and then I returned home to the UK in August 2014. And then prior to my extradition, I was in British high security prisons since July 2006. But anyway, here are the books that people sent me, and this is the first time I open it. And I'm thanking my cameraman for patiently holding this phone, so I don't know how long this is going to take. So bismillah, just open this. So this was sent by my US attorney, Richard Reeves, and we have a junior attorney called Anand Balakrishnan, and I think he's retiring, which is why he got in touch with me a couple of months ago about what to do with these books, because once I left Northern, I couldn't obviously take all these books that people had been sending to me from all around the world, and so I gave them to him in 2014, and now he got in touch about sending them to me. It cost about $300 to bring them. So it's the first time I've seen them.
So why were people sending you books?
To keep me occupied. We was in solitary confinement. We had no activities, unlike when we were in the British prisons. And people generously sent me gifts, and some of them...
These are all unsolicited, were they?
Almost all of them are unsolicited, yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so it's in a bit of a jumble here. So the first one I noticed is this one, which is Nabil Matta's Turks, Moors and Englishmen, which I think is a history about Muslims and in Britain during the Elizabethan times. I remember receiving lots of these editions of Race and Class by the Institute of Race Relations, and some of the people associated with it used to write to me. Francis Webber, I think, was one of them. Liz Vecchetti,
Yes.
a couple of them. Oh gosh, this is a little Bible reading book. I think I sent off to some Christian groups whilst I was in America to send me some stuff about the Bible, because I thought since I was in prison I might as well read the Bible. Oh, political biography of Darcus Howe, the anti-racist campaigner. That was done by, I knew Paul Field. He used to write to me as well. He's a solicitor. I remember us talking about our common interest in the Manic Street Preachers.
He lived in South London, Darcus Howe. Did you ever meet him?
No, I've never met Darcus Howe.
Oh.
By the way, this was must have been the first edition of the book, because there were some howlers of typos all the way through. But in any case, I'm very appreciative to Paul Field for sending me that. a very important sort of documentary of the times. More Race and Class. Oh gosh, who sent me this? Book on Economics, Financial Markets.
Were you buying shares while you were in prison?
I think probably had interest to know something about financial markets. Oh, it's got my prison number there, which I wrote myself, 393183.
You can't remember who sent you that?
It was a sister who sent me this, but I forget who it was exactly. I remember it was a sister who sent me this. Some poetry of Walt Whitman. This was a gift from Sally Eberhardt, who was based in, where was she based? Pennsylvania, and she made a long trip to come and visit me, I think twice whilst I was held in Northern. We had closed visits behind a glass. I think she's in Liverpool right now. In fact, I got in touch with her a couple of weeks ago after such a long time.
She was in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, so she lived in Pennsylvania. Her husband's British. He teaches English. And
US citizen?
she's a US citizen.
And why did she come to see you?
She was very active in like sort of prison affairs and stuff like that. Oh wow, this is really important.
Street music.
So this is a collection of poetry by Mike Macusi, the sports writer. So this has a bit of a story. So this late Saleh Mamoon, who's originally from Kenya, who passed away actually a couple of months ago. I attended his funeral. He used to write to me in prison, very supportive. He used to write to me while I was in the UK as well as the US. And in fact, many of these people, they were writing to me while I was in the UK and in the US. So he sent me, Saleh Mahmoud sent me this poetry book. And I must admit, when I first got a poetry book, I was not looking forward to reading it, okay, because poetry is very hit and miss, right? But I really enjoyed this. And then I started correspondence with Mike Macusi. And when I came back to the UK in August 2014, it was my intention to visit him. While I was in prison, he did a couple of talks on my behalf with my brother Hamza. But what happened was, on the week I was supposed to meet him, which was organised by Paul Field, who wrote the Darkest Hour book, he passed away.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I think he had cancer of some sort. And then I met his partner Liz Davis a couple of months ago when my brother Hamza had a retrospect of the campaign. And she also gave me his letters and stuff. And that's quite extraordinary to see this all again. Just to be clear, my brother's campaign, the Free Talha campaign, it was shortlisted for an award from Liberty, the civil rights organisation here in the UK, in 2013 for being one of the best campaigns. Okay, what else do we have here? Oh, book of Solitary Confinement by Lisa Guenther. She wrote to me as well. She's a professor of philosophy at Vanderbilt.
Solitary Confinement.
Yeah, it was a gift. So that was a gift from her. That's her book on solitary confinement.
Did you spend a lot of time in solitary confinement?
Yeah, so the prison in America Northern is designed to be solitary confinement. And we had a chance, you could shout out through the gaps in the door to other prisoners and stuff like that. But it's very unlike even the high security prisons in the UK. I mean, for a start, there was a little flap in the door where they served the food and things like that. And every time you left, you had to wear handcuffs, and then that was in turn shackled to leg restraints. Yeah. None of which exists in the UK.
Of course.
Even when as a high security prisoner, I visited a hospital in the UK. We never had leg restraints, right? So it's extraordinary just to go to the shower. You have to put in all these chains, and then they'll accompany you to the shower, and then you put your hands outside the little flap, and they'll get rid of the handcuffs, but you have the leg shackles still on. So that was very interesting. Okay, what's this? That's a magazine. Srebrenica. Oh, there's a card here. Who's this sent by? Oh, sent by Sarah Joseph herself. That's nice of her. The editor of former editor of MO, and she does a whole bunch of other activities. Sarah Joseph sent that. Oh, that's the ward I was talking about from Liberty. Let me see if our thing's in here. There it is. There's my brother.
All right. So, whilst you were in prison, you heard about the fact that the campaign to seek your release was awarded this prize.
It was shortlisted.
Shortlisted,
yeah, which is still quite an amazing achievement. Yeah.
And were you lifted? Your spirits lifted by hearing that, or?
I think it's more testimony to all the great people who stood up for justice and things like that. What I liked about Hamza's campaign, it wasn't focused upon me as any kind of hero. It was about kind of wider dysfunctionality and problem and injustice that affected other people long before me. Oh, look, another book from Mike McCusey.
What's that called?
It's called If I'm Not For Myself, Journey of an Anti-Zionist Jew.
Oh.
He wrote this, when did he write this? 2008. So it's about his, it's like a little autobiography of his. Daniel Berrigan. I don't remember where I got this from. He's a Jesuit priest and peace activist. Oh, it's a postcard here. No, it doesn't, I don't know where this one came from.
You have to speak up a bit.
Sorry. The happenstance pamphlets. Happenstance is owned by this lady who used to write to me. That was a gift from the publishers.
Right.
Oh, Prisoners Abroad is a great charity. They used to send me their magazine. And this is a little booklet to have about yoga and stuff like that, how to stay well in prison. This is from the National Autistic Society. They weren't very supportive at all. There's a famous press conference when we were just after we were extradited, where journalists asked the head of the National Autistic Society about what's the guy's name, McKinnon.
Yeah.
About how he had Asperger's and those kind of, like, wasn't it like a double standard from the National Autistic Society? It might be on YouTube somewhere. But anyway, they used to send me this magazine, and there was opportunity to be pen pals with people. So I think I wrote some letters to people from the pen pal section as well.
Is that all you received from them?
I received a few others. I received their regular magazine, but they weren't very supportive to my family. I don't know where this came from.
You have to read it out.
Oh, this is Tolstoy, so a biography of him.
Looks well thumbed, as they say.
I don't actually remember ever reading this. Here's some more pamphlets from Happenstance. There's a book on how to write poetry, introduced by Tom Chivers.
Did you write poetry when you were in prison?
So in the week before my extradition in October 2012, I actually won an award with the Kosler's prison arts competition, national prison arts competition. It's quite interesting because the prison stopped me like the year before from sending my poetry because they didn't understand it, and there's a few swear words in it and whatever, and some was a bit edgy. They didn't let me send it, but I don't know how I ended up sending it to Kosler, and I won an award for it. I got the bronze for the poetry collection, and I got the highest prize for the single poem. So it was called Grieving and Other Poems. So the pamphlet got the bronze, and then the poem by itself, Grieving, got the highest award for the individual poem. And inshallah, God willing, we'll try to get that published along with some letters from other people in a book one day.
So were you a poet before your time in prison?
I've been writing poetry since not longest time, of varying measures of success. This is from the American Friends Service Committee. This is about solitary confinement. So they do a lot of activism on solitary confinement and stuff like that. Oh, there's another book from the American Friends Service Committee, and it's edited by Bonnie Kernus, who's a prison watch coordinator. Oh look, there's a letter.
Oh,
Talha,
what does it say?
Hamja asked that I send these, Bonnie Kernus. So, there's that. Oh wow.
What's that?
I don't remember these. What's this? Oh, these are the campaign postcards.
Oh, right.
So you can send these, and it's got a pre-printed address to the then Home Secretary, Theresa May. So these are quite beautifully designed.
Oh.
This has got my address on when I was in prison in Long Lartin, so people could send me a postcard. I used to receive many of these, and I'm very appreciative of the people who wrote to me while I was in prison. We archived all the letters and the paperwork at the Bishopsgate Institute.
Why Bishopsgate Institute?
I think they actually got in touch with us to archive this stuff. So look, I didn't remember I vaguely remember having all the pens and pencils. And then there's these cards in here. Look, it's my Poetry Society membership card. Gosh, how do I take this out? Poetry Society membership card for 2013.
Wow.
Member 66214. Oh, this is the Learning Champions. So Learning Champions was a course I did while I was at Belmarsh to help people like read and write. So it's to help people who didn't know how to read and write, to encourage them to do that.
So you were a teacher?
Whilst I was in Belmarsh, yeah.
Yeah.
I used to help in the English as a foreign language classes as well.
Wow.
So I didn't realise that came with me when I was working in the UK. What's this? Oh, this is Graham McPhee. That's Sarah's partner. So that's
What's the title?
Post-war British Literature and Post-Colonial Studies. That was a gift from Sally Eberhard. Oh, this is from my buddy Seneca, who's at school with me, and he was really supportive and continues to be very, very supportive. In fact, he's the one who took me to Hamja's retrospect a couple of months ago for the campaign. So it's poetry of Bangladesh, translated. Poems from Bangladesh, the voice of a new nation.
Oh, wow.
Oh, gosh. Pankaj Mishra's From the Ruins of Empire. I was talking to someone a few days ago and I forgot the title of the book. All I remembered was I read it once in prison and I referred someone to it about something we were talking about. I've still got some scribbles in the margins. Who was that sent by? Let me see. There's a little slip in here. I'm not sure who sent this. Maybe my brother sent me this. I'm not sure. Oh, this is nice. These are the short stories of Sadat Hassan Mantu, who's a Pakistani writer, which are translated. I really like these.
I think that's one of the first non-fiction.
Yeah, this is fiction, short stories.
Yeah, is this fictional works that you've produced?
This is Conrad Black's autobiography about his time in prison. Oh God. This is, okay, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Eduardo Galeano's Children of the Days, a calendar of human history. This is like a quirky thing for like every day of the year. It's got like some short little thing to think about.
Would you read something there?
So this is from June 12th, The Mystery Explained. In the year 2010, the war against Afghanistan divulged its raison d'etre. The Pentagon revealed that the country had mineral resources worth more than $1 trillion. The Taliban were not among the resources named. Rather, gold, cobalt, copper, iron, and above all lithium, an essential ingredient in cellular telephones and laptop computers. I think Hamza sent me that. English-Spanish dictionary. I don't know how I ended up with that.
Maybe
there was a lot of Spanish speakers in Latin demystified. I don't know why I think I tried to learn Latin but I didn't get very far. This was sent by look, there's a few of the exercises have been done in it, but
well, that must be quite a first for someone to be in a US supermax to learn Latin.
Didn't get very far. Another Eduardo Galeano book. Upside Down, a primer for the looking glass world. I actually enjoyed reading these things. It's from Uruguay. They're really piling up.
Yeah.
Another Webster dictionary.
Is that Spanish?
No, just a normal English dictionary.
Oh, no, sorry. Okay.
American history school book. This was sent. Oh, okay. This is a gift from the Lucy Parsons Center, and they send books. They send secondhand books to prisoners. I think it's like a US charity.
Okay.
So I wrote to them, asked them to send me books and stuff. Oh look, here's their thing. How to request books. Sent to prison book program. You can just fill in what you're interested in. And there, that's the books they sent me. Great American Stories, Strange News from Another Star, American History Review Text, National Prisoner Resource List. Oh, this is Small Island by Andrea Levy. I remember reading that. That was a quite enjoyable read. I don't remember. Oh, this. Okay, this was a gift from an Italian professor of English literature called Pietro D'Andrea, and he did a couple of articles of my poetry, and did a couple of presentations of my poetry, and then I had a chance to meet him when I came back to the UK as well when he was visiting London. In fact, actually, he got in touch with me a couple of weeks ago because he did a presentation on my poetry along with some other very highly celebrated modern English poets. I was quite honoured to be mentioned amongst them, like Moniza Alvi, and so he sent me a link to the his presentation. It was in Italian, but you know, still a great thing to have a presentation by a professor on your poetry. Some poetry by Ted Hughes, Rattlebag, the collection of like different poems, edited by Ted Hughes and Seamus Heaney. I don't remember. I think maybe it's a gift from Hamza. This is the New Testament translated into Arabic. I think one of the Bible organisations must have sent me that. I don't know what this is. Gazelle, a novel by Ricky Connect. I don't remember reading this. I don't remember that. This is the Prisoner Survival Manual, American Friends Service Committee. That's just printed out for me.
Did you find those survivor manuals helpful?
I don't know. I mean, I read them. Some of the people were in very harrowing circumstances, and I think a lot had improved since their times. But I can't tell you. And then part of the jailhouse lawyer's manual.
Oh.
I think Hamza printed out for me.
Did you have a desk in your cell?
Yeah, there was like a metal desk attached to the wall, and there's like a metal stool attached to the ground. And then they used to give us these little pens, just little flexi pens. They were about that big, and they were like flexible, so you couldn't stab anyone with them. Another happenstance poetry pamphlet.
And where did you read? At the desk or on your bed or?
Most often just lying on my bed.
Ah.
Yeah, what's the lady's name? Nell, that's it, Nell. Her name was Nell. I forget her second name. So this is just another poetry pamphlet she sent me. Oh God, I've still got a few more left. Oh, I remember this. This is a communist reading of the Great Jewish Revolt against Rome by Neil Faulkner. I remember writing to him as well, corresponding with him. I remember making notes from this as well, in the exercise book.
Jewish revolt against?
The Great Jewish Revolt against Rome.
Against Rome, okay.
Yeah, AD 66 to 73. Apocalypse by Neil Faulkner. This is another Institute of Race Relations, Race and Class magazine. This is another book from Happenstance, poetry of Tom Duddy, The Years. What's this? I vaguely remember reading it. Hemsprong or Man as He Is Not by Robert Bage. I don't remember who sent me this now. This was a gift from someone called John Goss. So he was a campaigner, dedicated Christian in the UK who used to write to me and send me gifts. This is some old Ikra, A Voice of the Muslim Ummah 2009. This must have been like floating around some Islamic organization based in Connecticut. Mike Makusi, The Price of Experience, Writings on Living with Cancer.
Yeah.
Talks about NHS and things like that. So kept up his activism even while he was ill. Reminiscence of the Cuban Revolution War by Che Guevara. I don't remember who sent me that.
Oh.
This was sent by the Books Through Bars of Ithaca group. Yeah. Okay, so that was nice of them to send that. Great American Prose Poems, edited by David Lehman. So I had an interest in prose poetry specifically at that time. So I think maybe my brother sent me that. I don't know how this got here. This is All's Well That Ends Well by Shakespeare.
Shakespeare.
I think this was another. This is from Left Bank Books, published and distribution. I think it's another Books to Prison organisation that sent it out. I think where are they based? Based in Portland. Oh, this is another Mike Makusi book, Redemption Song, about Muhammad Ali and the spirit of the 60s. It's a Bible, the Concordance. Practical Bible Dictionary and Concordance. I was actually I was praying very hard to get a Bible, because I thought since I was in prison I might as well just make a khatam of the Bible and make a complete read of the Bible. And so the Protestant minister there, he gave me a copy of the NIV Bible. Still got it, in fact, right behind you. And so I had a chance to read that. That I managed to bring back. Lyrics Ali by one of my favourite novelists, Layla Abul A'la. That's how it should be pronounced. And that's based in Egypt in the 1950s. In Sudan in the 1950s, Egypt and Sudan in the 1950s. And that was also a present from John Goss, who I mentioned earlier. Hisnul Muslim, obviously. Litanies and prayers and such like.
Yeah.
This is Lamb's Tales from Shakespeare, children versions of Shakespeare. I can't remember how I got this. Maybe this was from one of the Books of Prisoners organisations. Paul Robeson, Here I Stand. I can't remember how I got that. Maybe that was another Books of Prisoners organisation. Oh, Edward Said's Culture and Imperialism. That was a gift. That was a gift from another supporter called Beverly Martin. I think she's a dental nurse now. She lives in the UK. So she sent me that. These are some miscellaneous, like Christian reading. I think the organisation sent me that.
So why did you have this desire to read the Bible, and when you?
It's just
something you never accomplished.
Something I expected to do while in prison. And finally, Hafiz of Shiraz. This was sent by Dr. Nisha Kapoor, who's a lecturer in sociology. At that time she was in York. I think she's in Birmingham now. In fact, this book has been on my mind for the longest time. In fact, it was one of the first books I ever received when I was in America. So I'm really appreciative to her for sending this, and I had an opportunity to meet her with her a few times after I returned to the UK.
Well, tell us about the book. Why has it been on your mind?
Because I've been thinking a lot about the role of Persianate culture and poetry in the kind of like Islamic history, um, and there's that line in this. There's that line about pouring wine on the prayer mat. If your master commands you, if I can find it, I'll try and read it. I'm not sure I will. But even though it seems very provocative, like how can you say such a thing? Here it is. Stain your prayer mat with wine if the master tells you. That seasoned voyager knows the ways of the road. Okay, so that seems very provocative. Stain your prayer mat with wine if the master tells you. But the idea is this. If you're disgusted with the idea of putting wine on a prayer mat, which is illicit to drink, then you should feel more disgusted that you stand on a prayer mat and your heart is filled with jealousy and arrogance and pride and miserliness and cowardice and all these other vices of the heart, which is far worse than some wine. So I think that was the idea behind that verse.
When was it written? Do you know?
These Hafiz died. When did he die? He lived in the 14th century in Common Era. And that's the books. Maybe one day we can talk more about my reading. I made a list of all my other readings because there's like a small trolley of books I used to pass by our doors on Saturdays, I think, which you could take things from and return back. And then I made a big list of all my readings as I completed the books. And then I'm also very appreciative for all the people who sent me these books. And it's really important to try and support people who are in prison to relieve their boredom and encourage their minds to do positive things.
Did you find solace in the poetry and books?
I found solace in the remembrance of God, and I found solace in reading, and I found entertainment and diversion, and reading connects you to this conversation between the dead and the unborn. It's a profound place to be, even while he's in prison.
Well, it's been an honor and pleasure to go through a sample, I would say, of the reading that you did whilst you were locked up in a Supermax. And do you think well, you didn't have much control about the books that were sent to you, so it says more about the people who supported you as much as it does about you, doesn't it?
I'm very appreciative of their generosity.
So we're left with this notion that not only are many of the books written by remarkable people, but those who sent them were remarkable people to go to the trouble of posting all these books. And so amazing people found their way through their books into your small cell in America.
It's amazing what the human spirit can achieve when it works together.
Excellent. Well, thank you.
Thank you.